Hello, my name is Ron Pearson, and I'm here courtesy of the Edmonton International Street Performers Festival, and I'm a magician. And today, I am going to be showing you some magic. I'm also going to be teaching you some magic, and that's my favorite thing to do. I love teaching magic, and between you and me, I'm not really allowed to teach magic. I shouldn't say I'm not allowed to teach magic, but I'm not really allowed to share magical secrets. But today, I'm going to make an exception. You see, when I was about 7 years old, that's when I started to really get interested in magic. And a lot of people ask me, how did I learn? And I learned magic from books, library books. I used to go to the library and take out books on magic, and that's how I learned. And in fact, I still learn magic from books. And I'd like to show you today the first trick that I ever learned out of a book. This is a trick you can make up yourself. All you need is a card. You also need a black marking pen or a crayon, that'll work too. I'll show you what the trick looks like, and then I'll show you how it's done, okay? We have 1 dot on this side of the card, and there are 4 dots on this side. I snap my fingers, and we now have 3 dots on this side of the card, 1, 2, 3, and 6 dots on this side of the card, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll do it again. 1 dot on this side, 4 dots on this side. I snap my fingers, and we now have 3 dots on this side of the card, and 6 dots on this side, 6 dots and 3 dots. Okay, I can hear you from here. I know what you're thinking. And of course, you have to, please, give me a break. It's the first trick I ever learned. There aren't really 3 dots on this side of the card, are there? No, there are only 2. On the other side, there are only 5. Now, all you need, like I said, is a piece of cardboard and a black marking pen or a crayon. You draw the dots like this on one side, and the way they're drawn is very important. And on the other side, you have 2. So when I cover that bottom dot, it looks like I only have 1 dot. But if I go like this, and I count 1, 2, 3, people think there's a dot under my hand. It's the same on the other side. You can show what look like 6 dots or 4 dots, right? But there is a problem with this trick, as you probably figured out. Some people will want you to move your hand. And of course, you can't move your hand, can you? No. Well, you could. But you'd have to be a real magician, showing you really do have 3 dots on that side of the card and 6 dots on that side of the card. And when you show you have 6 dots on this side and 3 dots on this side, people get very confused. When you show you have 8 dots on this side of the card, and that's the first trick I ever learned. Now, don't worry. Well, I will actually be really teaching you some magic in a few moments, but I just wanted to give you a little bit more of a history of how I learned magic and where I saw magic. The first magician I saw was just before I started to learn magic. I was about 6 years old, and you know, I'm showing my age, but I remember when there was only one festival here in Edmonton, and that was the Klondike Days. I think it's called K-Days now. And that's where I saw my first magician. And he did an amazing thing with a piece of rope. He took the piece of rope, and he took the center of the rope, and he took a pair of scissors, and he cut the rope in half. So instead of 1 piece of rope, he ended up with 2. And he said a magic word, I can't remember now. He brought all 4 ends of the rope into his hand. He blew on the rope like this, and put the rope back together. Now, I thought this was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen. And so I wanted to learn how it was done. And over the years, I've tried different things. I've tried tying the ends together. I find that helps. And you know what? Those scissors are a little dull. Just a moment. That's better. Oh my goodness. This is my fault. I messed it up. The knot should be in the middle, down here. Oh, I wanted 2 pieces of rope that were the same size, but these aren't even close, are they? Just a moment. That's better. Now we have 2 pieces of rope that are the same size. I'll tie these 2 together, and I want everyone to do me a favor. Wherever you are, I want you to say abracadabra when I count to 3, and that knot will disappear. Instead of 2 pieces of rope, we'll have 1 piece. The knot will vanish. Now remember, when I count to 3, you say abracadabra. 1, 2, 3. It's very good. The rope is back in one piece. The knot is gone. Oh, gone. Oh. Oh! Oh! It's my fault. The magic word was perfect, but I tied the wrong knot. That is a slip knot. You cannot tie two pieces of rope together with a slip knot. The knot will slip from here down to there. Let me just slip this right off. I'm not going to need this anymore. I think it's time that we learned how to do some magic. Before we do any magic learning, however, I need you to promise me something. I need you to promise that you won't tell anybody how any of this magic works. Keeping the secret is very, very important. Now, when you're practicing these magic tricks, and if you're working with your mom or dad or brother or sister or best friend, it's okay if they figure out how the trick is done because they're helping you to learn it. But once you've learned the trick and your friends say, "Hey, how did you do that?" you can't tell them. Because once they know the secret, the magic is gone. And you'll know what I mean when I show you some of this magic I'm about to show you. The first trick I want to teach you is a trick with a ghost. I hope you don't scare easy. I have a ghost. His name is Jack. He is standing right over here. Hello, Jack. Jack was a pirate. He sailed the seven seas hundreds of years ago, and he loves to tie knots. And Jack is going to tie a knot in the bottom of this rope. Are you ready, Jack? Okay. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And Jack ties a knot in the bottom of the rope. Now, I'll teach you how this is done. Who has figured out that there isn't really a ghost? Oh, really? Oh, okay, yeah, you figured that out right away, huh? You're right, there's no ghost. That's just a story. I tell a story because stories in magic are very important. They take people's minds away from how you really do the trick. You see, that knot was in my hand the whole time. Yeah, I tied it long before. And when I went to reach for it over here on my table, I made sure that it was hidden in my hand. Now, no one knows it's there because they don't know what you're about to do. And you're talking about a ghost. So I'm looking at my ghost and I say, my ghost Jack is going to tie a knot in the bottom of the rope. And I point to this end dangling down here. So I look at my ghost, I look down here. Where don't I look? That's right, here. I don't look at this hand because I don't want people to think about this end of the rope just yet. So I'm pointing down here and I say the ghost will tie a knot in the bottom of the rope. I bring this end up and I clip it under my thumb, right there. Try not to have your thumb touch this part of the rope because it'll get messy a little bit later on if you do that. So right now, that end is clipped under my thumb. I bring my arm back over my head and then I lift my thumb and that end falls back down again. That's 1. We do it a second time, exactly the same way. We clip it under your thumb, bring your arm back, lift your thumb, and say 2. The third time is when you do the sneaky stuff. You take that end, you clip it under your thumb, but you leave it there this time. You clip it really, really strongly so it doesn't fall out. And then you lift your hand, and on 3, you open and shut your fingers and let the knot out. See, all you've done is just switch ends, but everyone thinks it's the same end and that a ghost has tied a knot in your rope. So let's do that again. I had that hidden in my hand, remember? I look at my ghost, and then I point down here and say the ghost will tie a knot in the bottom of the rope. I bring that end up under my thumb and I clip it there. I bring my arm back, lift my thumb and say 1. I then take that end again, put it under my thumb, bring my arm back, lift my thumb and say 2. Now this time, I put the end under my thumb, but I leave it under my thumb, really tight. And then I bring my arm back, open and shut my hand, and let the knot out. You see, that big movement of my arm, like this, hides the little movement of my hand opening. And that's how the ghost ties a knot. Now, time for another trick. This time I am going to teach you how to read someone's mind. Yeah, that'd be good during math tests, wouldn't it? Now, I'm not going to have you think of a long word or a long number, nothing like that. I'm going to have you concentrate on something that's really easy to think about, and those are colors. I have a box of crayons here, and if we were in the same room, what I would do is I would turn my back, and then I would have you reach inside the box and take out any crayon you want and give it to me. But I'll have to do that myself this time. I hope you don't mind. But this is how you do it for your friends. You would turn your back, okay? And then they would give you a crayon. And like I said, I'm just going to reach inside and grab a crayon, and I'll explain in a minute how this works. So the crayon's behind your back like that, okay? So I won't peek at it. I won't look. I am going to see if I can read your mind and figure out what crayon is behind my back. So I'm really going to concentrate here. Let's see. Now really think hard, okay? Think of that color as if it was on a big billboard, flashing off and on, okay? On top of your favorite building. Okay, oh, that's pretty good. I'm getting a color. Oh, it's a very bright color. Oh my gosh, I have to shield my eyes. It's yellow, isn't it? Is it? Yellow, very good, very good. Let's do it again, let's do it again. I'll take out another crayon here. And like I said, your friends will do this, okay? Your friend, whoever you're doing the trick for, they will take a color out of the box and they will give it to you behind your back. So we'll do it again here. Let's see. This time I want you to really focus this time, really concentrate. Okay, this is a little bit tougher. It's kind of a bright color again, but really think, okay? Oh boy. I think this is orange. It's either orange or pink. Can I check? Orange, good, I got it. Good, good, good. Now, I'll teach you how this is done. You need wax crayons, not pencil crayons, not marking pens, wax crayons. And like I said, any box of crayons will do. You turn your back and you have someone give you a crayon behind your back. So I'm just going to grab one here, like I said, again, and we'll take one out of the box here. And as I say, I'm going to be teaching you this one in a moment. So the crayon is behind your back. You do something very sneaky with this crayon and with your thumb. You take your thumbnail, and this is the part, remember, that your audience doesn't see. This happens behind your back. And you take your thumbnail and you dig your thumbnail into the wax of the crayon. And you get some of that wax under your thumbnail. Okay? So I'm going to turn around again. Now, I tell everyone they have to concentrate on the color. And I am going to concentrate too. And I bring my hand up. And as my hand is coming up, I look down at my thumbnail. And I think that's a blue wax under my thumbnail. That tells me there's a blue crayon behind my back. Okay? So don't look at it too long. As your hand comes up, you just quickly look at your thumb and put your hand on your forehead like this. The other way to do it is to point to the audience. And as I'm pointing, I look quickly at my thumb and I can see the color. Now you can have a lot of fun with this trick. Don't do it too many times. Make twice as good. But you'll really have people believing that you can read minds. So, time for more magic. For this next trick, I have to roll up my sleeves because some people think I cheat. And I do. That's my job. Speaking of jobs, this has been my job. As a magician, I've been doing magic for over 30 years. And a lot of people always ask me, how do I make enough money as a magician? So I thought I'd show you that now. This is something I don't usually share with people, but I'll show you the secret to making a living being a magician. We'll use this $5 bill, and I want you to watch it very closely. Now I know this is my $5 bill, but one day, hopefully, you and I can be in the same room, and I can do this with your $5 bill. Everything you're seeing here today, by the way, is not done with camera tricks. All these tricks can be done live with you and me in the same room. So that's very important that you know that. So I want you to watch this $5 bill, and all I have to do is fold it up. And then I will show you how I make a living as a magician. Watch. That's a good trick, isn't it? Unfortunately, though, it is just a trick. Yeah, this doesn't work in real life. I'll show you. It doesn't last very long. Watch that $20 bill. Again, I blow on it. And we're back to the 5. Oh well, easy come, easy go. Now it's time to teach another magic trick. I am now going to teach you a magic trick that I've invented myself. I'm very proud of this. This trick has fooled some of the greatest minds in magic. I'll show you what the trick looks like, and then I'll show you how it's done. Watch the red handkerchief. The red handkerchief. Watch, watch. Because instead of a red handkerchief, it magically changes into a yellow handkerchief. Thank you. No. Okay. You're way too smart to be fooled by this trick. Did you see me reach into my pocket? Oh, okay. You need 2 handkerchiefs, of course. When you get your handkerchiefs, make sure they're about the same size and that they're different colors. Of course, that's very important. And one handkerchief is in your hand before you start. Actually, it's in your pocket, okay? So this is the secret. You wave this one around. You say, watch the handkerchief. And you watch it too. So I'm keeping my eyes on it like this, just like the rope trick that we did with the knot, right? Wherever you look, the audience looks. So I look at the handkerchief and everyone else will. And while everyone's looking up here, I reach into my pocket and take out the red one. Now, of course, remember, make sure the red one is all the way down inside your hand. That's very important. Now remember, everybody, no one knows there's a handkerchief in your hand. As far as the audience is concerned, that hand is empty. And that's very important. You have to keep it very relaxed, very relaxed. You wave the yellow one around, put a little bit of the yellow into the top of the hand, out of the bottom of the hand, you take out a little bit of the red. So it gives the illusion that the yellow handkerchief is magically changing into a red handkerchief. Now remember, everyone thinks that hand is empty. That's very important. Oh, of course, you know there's a yellow handkerchief there. Of course. Yellow goes in the hand, red goes in the top, yellow comes out the bottom, and it gives the illusion that the red handkerchief is magically changing into a yellow handkerchief. Any questions about this at all? Now, let's learn a magic trick that you can do for your friends and family. And this uses the simplest of props, a little rubber band. I don't know if you can see that, a very small little rubber band. I'll put it against the white of my shirt. And once it's on my fingers, you'll see it a little bit better. Now, this is a trick you can do anywhere, for anybody. And you just need to start with the rubber band around your first 2 fingers. Watch that rubber band, because all I have to do is blow. And it jumps to these 2 fingers. Let's do it again. It really is on my first and middle finger. And when I blow on it like this, it jumps. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that somehow the rubber band very quickly jumps off my first 2 fingers and lands on my pinky finger and ring finger. So I'm going to make sure that that can't happen. I have another rubber band. This one's a little bit bigger. And I am going to lock off the tips of my fingers, create like a little fence by twisting the rubber band around my fingers, okay? So nothing can, or this rubber band can't go off my fingers unless I take this large rubber band off first, right? So watch closely, watch that black rubber band. I do the same thing. All I do is blow. And that rubber band jumps to my other 2 fingers. Now, I'll show you how this is done. You need 2 rubber bands, and this rubber band is a little bit bigger, okay? We'll use that in a minute. But this rubber band, you want a rubber band that can fit on your first 2 fingers and not be too big, okay? That's important. The smaller the rubber band, the better. Because if the rubber band is too big, it won't work very well. So you want to make sure that it's of course, not too tight. You know, you don't want to hurt your fingers, but you want it tight enough that it'll look something like that, okay? So it starts on your first two fingers, like that. And what's most important is that you keep your fingers together. You point them toward the ceiling, all your fingers up in the air, and you pretend that they're crazy glued together, that they can't come apart, okay? You don't want to do the trick like this. You want to make sure your fingers are really tightly closed together, all right? So I'm going to show you what it looks like from my point of view, because you and of course your audience, you only see the back of your hand when you're doing the trick. The audience only sees the back of your hand. So I'm going to turn my hand around and I'll show you what I see and what you'll see when you do the trick. So your fingers, remember, are tight together. You stretch the rubber band toward yourself like this. So from the front, it looks like that. But this is what I'm doing. I'm just stretching like that. And then I close all my fingers together and I put all of my fingertips inside the rubber band. Now from the front, it looks normal, doesn't it? It looks like the rubber band's still on these two fingers. But actually, I've got all my fingers in there. So, excuse me, look what happens when I open my fingers. It looks like it jumps, and it actually does jump to the ring finger and little finger. So I'll do it again. All right, so this is what it looks like from when you're doing the trick. Your audience sees the back of your hand, remember. I stretch a rubber band like this, and then I keep my fingers closed, and I put all my fingertips inside. Now, from the front, it looks like that. But from where you're looking, it looks like that, right? Now, I'm going to open my fingers so you can see what happens. I open them all together, remember, all together, and that rubber band will jump from here over to here. Now, how did I do that last part? Remember, with the big rubber band? Let me show you. So you put the rubber band on the first two fingers again, and I take the bigger rubber band and I put it on my first finger first, then I twist like that. See that? And then I put my middle finger in, and I twist again. I put my ring finger in, I twist again, and I put my little finger in, okay? So it creates what I call like a fence. So this rubber band, it looks like that rubber band cannot come off your fingers unless you take this rubber band off. And you want to tell people that, okay? And it really does look impossible. Like it looks like there's no way that rubber band could jump. But watch what happens. You do the same thing, and I'll show you from my end. Again, the audience sees the back of your hand. You see this side. I stretch the rubber band, and I do the same thing. I keep my fingers together, and I put all four fingers inside. So when I open my fingers, that rubber band will still jump. See, all it's doing is it's going from here and pivots around over to here. See if I can, yeah, there you go. Like that. But it really looks impossible when you have this other rubber band on your fingers. So this is a trick you can have a lot of fun with, and it's a great, in fact, even if you don't have the bigger rubber band, you can still do the first part of the trick, and you can carry this rubber band around your wrist, or if you have long hair, you can make a little ponytail with it, and you can carry this trick anywhere and do it anytime. So now it's time for me to teach one of my favorite types of tricks, and that's card tricks. Now the deck I'm using, and I'll show you, it's just a deck of cards that you can buy at the store. Okay, there's nothing special about the deck. And you really only need two cards, a black 8 and a black 9. Now these are very special cards. I've trained them to do tricks. Let me show you. We'll put the 9 down here in the deck somewhere, and we'll put the 8 quite a ways away from it, over here, all right? So those two cards are separated by lots of other cards, somewhere in the middle of the deck. We'll push them inside like that, and let me square the deck up. So you've seen the 8 and the 9 go into different parts of the deck. But like I said, they're specially trained. When I snap my fingers, they're going to do a trick. Watch. And the 8 and the 9 come back to the top of the deck. Now let me show you how this is done. You of course need a black 8 and a black 9. That's the 8 of clubs and the 9 of spades. But you need two other cards. Two cards that your audience don't know about. You also need the 9 of clubs and the 8 of spades. So you're actually using 4 cards, but the audience is only aware of 2 of them. So when you do the trick, you take the 8 of spades and the 9 of clubs. You don't take the 8 of spades and the 9 of spades, okay? You don't put the spades together. You have to have the opposite card. So 8 of spades and 9 of clubs. And you put those on top of the deck. Then you take the other two cards, the 8 of clubs and the 9 of spades, and then you put those on top of the deck. This is what you've got. You've got the 8 and the 9, 8 of clubs, 9 of spades, and 8 of spades, 9 of clubs. Okay? So when I first show you the cards, I deal over the top two cards. And I call them the black 8 and 9. Now I don't say it's the 8 of clubs and the 9 of spades. You don't want people to remember what suit they are. Okay? You just say you've got an 8 and a 9. And remember, the other 8 and 9, the 8 of spades and the 9 of clubs, are on top of the deck. So I can spread the cards out on the table, and I take each one of these cards, put the 9 of spades, and I put it somewhere in this part of the deck, okay, near the bottom. And I take the 8, and I put this one somewhere near the top. But it's important that they're really separated, so people can see that they're in different parts of the deck. Then I square them up, I put them right into the spread, and then I square the whole deck up. Okay. So remember, the other two cards, the 8 of spades, 9 of clubs, are still on top of the deck. But the audience thinks that the 8 and 9 are somewhere mixed up inside the spread of cards, inside the deck. Watch what happens. I tell a little story about how I've trained them to do tricks. And I snap my fingers, or you can say a magic word, whatever you'd like, and then turn over the top cards, two cards, and then you'll see the 8 and the 9 are back on top. Now, of course, you know that's a different 8 and 9, but your audience won't remember that. And that's a very important part of magic. Sometimes we're not always watching as closely as we should be. And there's so many spots on these cards, right? There's lots of spades and lots of clubs that people get confused, and they won't always remember. So as long as you don't call them the actual names of the cards, you just say you have an 8 and a 9, then the trick will work great. You'll have lots of fun with that. Time for some card magic. Now, I know I said this before, but it's really important that everyone remembers that this is a deck of cards. I just bought this at the store. I can do any of the magic that you see me do here today with your deck of cards. And as much as I love card magic, I also love playing cards. I love card games. And we magicians, we have different kinds of games that we play, and we have different kinds of rules. The game that I particularly like is a game called Lucky Aces. It's lots of fun. You shuffle the cards, and you cut them once, and you cut them twice. Now, if you're playing Lucky Aces correctly, you should cut to a black ace. That's the first part of the game. The second part of the game is you get one cut, and you should cut to the other black ace. Now, the real trick of the game is to get the red aces with no cutting at all. Black aces on the table, red aces. Oh boy, I was never very good at that game. I better take a look at these aces. I'm not sure if they're okay or not. They look okay. That's the ace of spades. That seems to be everybody's favorite ace. And the ace of hearts, and the ace of clubs, and the ace of diamonds. We're going to do something called twisting. Now, I'm not going to dance, but the aces are. It goes like this. Watch. Just like that. Because when you twist, one ace turns face down. I can twist again. Watch. And you'll see that a second ace turns face down. We can twist again. And a third ace turns face down. And one more twist turns all four aces face down. Now you've noticed I've been twisting clockwise. I can twist counterclockwise like this. It doesn't really matter. It's just that the aces just start turning face up again. But there's something you never do. I don't know if you can hear this or not. Can you hear that? That's called snapping. You never snap. Because when you snap, you lose your aces. And you get into trouble doing stuff like that, depending on who you're playing cards with. Here, let's try something a little bit different. We'll use the whole deck of cards this time, and we'll give them a quick shuffle. Now, normally, I would have someone in the audience, if they were here in the room with me, pick a card and be able to take any card they want. But unfortunately, we're not able to do that. So I'm going to give the cards a little bit of a shuffle, And I am just going to turn over this top card. It doesn't matter if I see it or not. I mean, it makes no difference. 4 of clubs. Oh, 4 of clubs. We just saw that one. But that's okay. We'll use the 4 of clubs for this, all right? And the 4 of clubs we will place somewhere in the middle of the deck, all right? Just like that. Now we'll give them another quick shuffle. And by the way, there's lots of ways of shuffling a deck of cards. You can give them one of these to shuffle the cards very well. You can also give them one of these on the table. Yeah, this mixes the cards very well. You can also give them one of these. I don't get away with that very often. And here, I don't know if you can see this or not, I'll do it a little up like this. Something called the Russian shuffle. That's where one card goes Russian after the other. Yeah. But there's one shuffle that someone gave to my cards, which was really a problem. I asked them to shuffle the cards, and they did this. They turned some of the cards face up, some of the cards face down, some of the cards face up. There's a technical term for this in magic. It's called a mess. Yeah. Because look, you have face-up cards, face-down cards, back-to-back, face-to-face. It's not very nice, especially when he gave them one of these. Well, I was in big trouble. I had a lot of face-up cards, a lot of face-down cards. I had to try and get out of this mess. I had to invent a shuffle. I call this a slam. Watch. Because now, all of the cards are face up. Every card is, oh, well, 1 out of 52, that's not bad. What was that card we saw earlier? The 4 of clubs. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you very, very much for watching my show today. I hope you've had lots of fun. I hope you've learned a lot. And remember the rules of magic. Remember, always keep it a secret. And the other rule, and something we didn't talk about a lot, is practicing. Make sure that before you do the trick for your friends, you practice the trick. Do it in front of a mirror, and then once you've got the parts of the trick in your mind, and you've done it a few times, then do it for your mom or dad, or big brother or big sister or best friend, so they can see what it looks like. And then you'll be ready to do the magic for your friends. And in fact, you can even do it over the computer now. At a Zoom meeting, you can do magic. So you can do magic anywhere at any time. And I hope you have lots of fun. If you want to learn more magic, like I said, the library is a great resource. There's also lots of magic on the internet. But if you're going to be on the internet looking for magic, make sure you have your mom or dad there with you too, okay? Thanks so much, everyone. And it's been a pleasure. Hope to see you again soon.